It's sort of a weird thing to see developers actually demand more out of Xbox than they would PlayStation, and now we're getting a little bit of a clearer picture as to why that sort of happens and why Microsoft has to actually go out there, and it makes more sense for them to buy developers as opposed to having to go out there and, just lock down a game that is going to be skipping, like, particularly one platform. So just so we're kind of clear on this, what I'm talking about is we're obviously getting a lot of this news from the Xbox Activision deal, things like that, which makes sense to sort of get that. But also, we have to kind of talk about how, at the end of the day, Microsoft is not in the market position, and one of the reasons why they're not in the market position is because obviously they don't have this huge back catalog of exclusive games the way that Sony does, and so basically what happens is developers actually charge Microsoft more if they were going to try and make a game exclusive on Xbox, and not bring it to PlayStation. The reason being is PlayStation is the market leader and has a significant edge in amount of units and things like that. So developers would be more eager to give Sony a good deal on getting an exclusive. So people go, well, why can't Microsoft just go out and get these third-party exclusives? And Microsoft answered that. They were like, well, since we're in last place, developers are very hesitant to give us those deals and skip PlayStation, and if they do, it's an exorbitant amount of money, right, where it makes it not worth it because you're not going to get anything from it. Even if you get a few people to go to your platform, it's still going to not be worth it at the long run, and so that's unfortunately where we're at right now in terms of Xbox and things like that. When it comes to developers like even Activision, and I got into this a little bit the other day, PlayStation sort of had this weird situation where they are in this much better spot. So Xbox is actually now claiming that Activision demanded bigger revenue. They were going to hold out. They literally kind of held Microsoft hostage and said, we're not going to put our games on your platform. According to Xbox Corporate Vice President Sarah Bond, who was given evidence in the court battle against the U.S. Trade Commission, which is seeking to block the company's $70 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In the run-up to the Xbox Series X and S launch in 2020, Bond claimed that Activision boss Bobby Kotick demanded an improvement on the industry's dominant revenue split model, which sees platform holders take a 30% cut of software sales on their consoles, with the remaining 70% going to publishers. With Activision refusing to actually start work on Microsoft's next-gen development kits until a deal was struck. And Microsoft, fearful of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War being released for PS5, but not for Xbox Series X and S, the platform holder accepted Activision's demands. And this is what she said. It was clear that Call of Duty would be on PS5 and that would not have been a good thing if it was also not on Xbox if it was launching at the same time, according to Sarah Bond. It was clear if we do not move beyond the standard revenue share, he would not place Call of Duty on Xbox. Now, the FTC reportedly slipped up during questioning by mentioning an 80-20 revenue split, suggesting that it is a deal that Microsoft and Activision agreed on. Sony Interactive Entertainment recently said it would withhold details about its next console from Activision if Call of Duty maker acquired by Microsoft during this attempted buyout. During a deposition last April, Sony boss Jim Ryan told the FTC that the company's past collaboration with Activision led to the development of better features on PlayStation consoles that helped the hardware stand out from the competition. But were Activision to be purchased by Microsoft, that partnership would be lost, according to Ryan. We simply could not run the risk of a company that was owned by a direct competitor having access to that information. Sony is a major opponent of the planned merger, and the FTC is due to call Ryan to court, or they did in pre-recorded stuff, and it didn't really go very well. Bethesda's publishing boss Pete Hines told the court that plans for a PS5 version of in-development Indiana Jones games were canceled after Microsoft acquired the company. He also claimed that Starfield wouldn't be releasing in September if Xbox Series X and S was coming to PS5 as well, which is something that I don't think many of us knew. But again, when you see these types of things going on, it's kind of interesting to kind of understand where all of it's coming from in regards to Microsoft and the future of Xbox. Now, again, when you hear that developers actually, and a lot of times will refuse to do the exclusive deals. That's why Microsoft goes out and buys these companies. And I did a video on that as well, where we heard that, Microsoft actually had been the ones to go and buy Bethesda simply because Sony was trying to lock down Starfield. That would have kept Starfield off of Xbox completely. And who knows what other games Sony's out there trying to lock down. I feel like, it's one of those things where, and you know what, no one, is actually out there going to be able to kind of dispute that. Microsoft is very much trying to do their own thing, and it's very difficult to do that when you actually have Sony out there actively working against them. It's unfortunate, but Microsoft said exactly that. We put Minecraft, and it sells very well on PlayStation, and it's a 70-30 split. And the 30% that Sony gets from the Minecraft money goes back into helping fund, them going out and buying these type of games that end up hurting Microsoft to begin with. So again, this is one of the things that that has really kind of hampered Microsoft, I think. And so when people go, oh well, why can't they go out and do this or that? Well, there's the reason. And also, one of there's many things that's interesting about this whole thing. Like, you get to see that the FTC, which should honestly be trying to help the American company who's in last place, are actually hampering the American company in last place, and really almost seems like they're working for Sony. Multiple times I'm watching this, and I'm like, man, how can they be so worried about Sony and worried about exclusives? When Sony and Nintendo both have far more exclusives by a large number than Microsoft. And even to bring up stuff like Halo, like, why is Halo not on PlayStation? Well, why is God of War not on Xbox? It's like Sony and Nintendo are allowed to have exclusives apparently, but Microsoft isn't. It's such a double standard, and to me, it doesn't make any sense. So I do hope that we see some movement before too long, because Microsoft should have the ability to compete here, right? And this will give it to them. And they're not even trying to take anything away from Sony. I mean, Call of Duty will be there. I think probably you'll see new IP go exclusive at some point. But, at the end of the day, it really kind of depends, on what Microsoft decides to do. So I want to see what happens in the future. I know a lot of you are probably wondering as well. How do you feel about this? Let me know. I think that it really kind of depends on what's going on. I really hope to get everybody's thoughts and opinions on this. It's just one of those things that realistically, as fans, we're probably sitting here wondering ourselves, like, what can Microsoft do to actually be able to compete? And here's one of the things that they can do. So thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. This is Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.